You feel the vibration before the sound even reaches your ears. It hits first in the soles of your feet, a tremor running through the iron skeleton of the HMS Birkenhead. This is not the creak of living wood. No. This is a 1,000-ton metal cage, forged in the hellish furnaces of Liverpool, driven by boilers that devour coal with a frantic, rhythmic hunger. You are below decks, in dim, flickering light. The air is thick, a stagnant soup of troop sweat, whale oil, and bitter steam leaking from the machines. It is 1:50 in the morning. 700 souls drift in a false sense of invulnerability. They told you iron was the future. They told you this giant was unsinkable, a god compared to the rotting timber of the old world. But under your boots, the truth is fragile. The iron of 1845 is not the steel of tomorrow. Infused with phosphorus impurities, it does not bend. It does not yield. It shatters. Glass disguised as strength. Captain Salmond is in a hurry. Men like him always are when the prestige of the Royal Navy is on the line. You feel the ship lean as it cuts through the water at 8.5 knots. Suicidal speed for these coordinates. Less than 3 miles away, the South African coast waits. Jagged granite teeth ready for a single mistake. But you do not know that. You only feel the warmth radiating from the engine room. A thermal embrace that makes you forget that outside the Benguela current flows like a frozen shroud. You rest in your hammock. The depth sounder, your only tether to the seabed, is cast one last time. 12 fathoms, 22 meters. The officer on watch notes it with the indolence of a man convinced the ocean is a flat map. They do not know what rises beneath the keel. A volcanic pinnacle, invisible, absent from every Victorian chart, rises from the abyss like an accusing finger. You are dry, you are warm, safe in your iron ignorance. Enjoy that weight on your chest, the security of gravity. Because in 10 minutes, the very concept of floor will cease to exist. And that was only the beginning. The heavy clock ticks once, twice, then a metallic boom silences it all. 2 in the morning. Time doesn't pass, it stops. Stops in a sickening crunch that does not sound like wood splintering. It sounds like a cannon blast vibrating through the entire hull. There is no deformation. There is no warning. The pinnacle of Danger Point pierces the bow as if it were wet paper. That iron we spoke of, phosphorus-heavy, brittle pride of Liverpool, it fractures into razor-sharp shards, opening a 10-foot wound through which the Indian Ocean enters at full atmospheric pressure. The water does not flow in, it explodes inward. In the forward berths, 100 men never even open their eyes. You feel the water hammer of the freezing tide slam into the hammocks, launching bodies against the iron ceiling. It is a hydrostatic trap. The weight of the sea seals the hatches before a single hand can reach them. Through the bulkheads, you hear it. The muffled gurgling of your comrades. There are no battle cries, only lungs filling with salt and darkness in less than 60 seconds. The Birkenhead has just lost its first battle against geology, and you have not even left your bed. The very engineering meant to protect you has become a coffin of British precision. Does it make you uncomfortable to hear this? Good. The human brain ignores fragility until the first rivet snaps and hits the face. While you sit there, breathing conditioned air, steam from the Birkenhead's boilers begins to mix with the seawater. A blinding mist of acid and sulfur rises, a choking fog for the survivors scrambling toward the upper deck. And then Captain Salmon's order roars from the bridge, full astern. It is the final error, the technical death sentence. By reversing the engines, the captain tears the ship from the rock that had at least acted as a plug. As the ship pulls back, the water pressure shreds the weakened iron plates. The hole widens. The Birkenhead is not retreating to safety. It rips open its own entrails so the sea can finish the job. You feel the vessel shudder, a metallic moan rising from the center of the earth. Propulsion dies, the lights flicker, and then they go out. Welcome to the darkness of Danger Point. But they were not alone in that darkness. The darkness is never empty. On the HMS Birkenhead, darkness has weight. 1,000 tons of water have just reclaimed their territory. You feel it hit your face like a physical slap. You are no longer on a ship. You are inside a diving bell, fracturing by the second. It is 2:05 in the morning. Captain Salmond is about to make the mistake that nautical manuals will underline in blood for a century. By ordering fuller stern, the 560 horsepower engine pulls against iron snagged on rock. You hear it, low-quality iron plates fracturing like tempered glass. No twisting, no warning. The hull simply disintegrates. The freezing water of the Benguela current, sharp 14 degrees, blades against your skin, slams the red-hot boilers. A contained thermal explosion blankets the deck in sulphurous mist. Steam burns your throat as you climb ladders now tilted at impossible angles. You see nothing. You only smell wet coal and sulphur. You feel the iron vibrate under your hands, but it is no longer the engine's pulse. It is the death rattle of a giant breaking in two. Around you, Victorian order shows cracks. Men stumble from the lower decks, half-naked, flannel shirts glowing like ghosts under chemical blue magnesium light. Look at their eyes, pupils dilated by shock. The look of men who realize the floor beneath them is a lie. Phosphorus in the metal made the hull incapable of absorbing impact. No dents, only an open wound from bow to stern. The Birkenhead is not just flooding, it is becoming part of the ocean. The center of gravity is gone forever. The ship lurches to port. Loose artillery, heavy equipment, 35 tons of coal slide through the hold, crushing everything in their path. Metal grinding against metal screams, drowning out the cries of those trapped below. You stand on deck. Night wind hits your wet skin. Industrial progress the Empire was proud of has left you stranded in the middle of nowhere. An iron raft sinking faster than your brain can process. Can you smell it? The acre scent of failed technology. By 2:07, the engine room is an aquarium of iron and grease. Stokers and mechanics die at their posts, wrapped in steam clouds, peeling their skin before the water finishes them. All power is lost. Oil lamps are out. Only flickering flares and the reflection of water licking the boots of men on the stern remain. There is no romanticism here, no bands playing hymns, only water devouring metal, and the cynical knowledge that every rivet in this ship was a broken promise. You are standing on the failure of an era, and the cold is just starting to numb your fingers, preparing you for what comes next. The ship breaks. Just behind the main mast, iron gives way with a roar that silences the wind. The giant funnel, a cylinder of solid iron weighing tons, leans to port. It does not just fall into the sea, it falls directly onto one of the few viable lifeboats, crushing it like a walnut shell. Listen to the wood splintering, the screams of those already inside. In an instant, your chances of salvation are cut in half, and you are still there. On the part of the ship that remains afloat, watching the bow vanish like a massive anchor, dragging your hopes to the bottom of danger point. Iron has a memory, and right now, the Birkenhead's iron is remembering every impurity. It is 2:07 in the morning. The ship no longer sails. It is a metallic corpse writhing beneath your feet. You feel the boilers shudder as the icy Indian Ocean finally reaches them. This is not a quiet flood. It is a collision of worlds. The fire of the Industrial Revolution meeting the abyss of the Benguela current. The result is a steam explosion that does not just break the hull, it annihilates hope. A thick, lethal white cloud erupts from the vents, burning your nostrils with a stench of sulphur and wet coal. You are on the upper deck, blinded by fog, listening to muffled screams from the bowels of the vessel. The stokers, men shoveling progress 5 minutes ago, are being cooked alive in a pressurized soup of salt water and steam. You cannot help them. The iron that protected them has become the walls of a pressure cooker. Now the deck's incline becomes aggressive. You are no longer walking, you are climbing. You reach for the lifeboat davits, but find the negligence of peacetime. The pulleys are seized, locked by layers of old paint applied for vanity during port parades. You watch sailors desperately hacking at the metal with axes as the ship sinks beneath them. A cynical contrast, an empire that rules the waves, but cannot launch a boat because aesthetics mattered more than maintenance. Then, Colonel Seaton gives the order, cut the straps, throw the horses overboard. 9 cavalry stallions, noble terrified, are pushed into the void. You hear the dull thud of bodies hitting the water, but it is not the noise that should worry you. Look at the water. One stallion breaks a leg against the iron hull. Its blood forms a chemical plume in the current. It is a proteinic beacon. Miles away, in the depths of Geyser Rock, the great whites pick up the vibration, the rhythmic splashing of horses fighting for their lives, a dinner bell for the predators of Danger Point. You are still on deck, feet submerged in water that is not just cold, it is dead. And the Tommy Shark has just received its invitation. It is 2:12. Time hasn't just slowed, it has frozen, like blood in your veins. You look around, and what you see defies every law of survival. The 74th Highlanders form ranks on the poop deck. No shouting, no shoving, just the hollow sound of boots striking slanted wood. Shoulder to shoulder, a line of men, simply waiting. In front of you, Colonel Seaton draws his sword, not for combat against a foreign enemy, but to impose order, an order designed specifically to kill you. Men, he says, voice cutting through the spray, I implore you to stand fast. If you swim to the boats, you will swamp them. You will kill the women and children. Feel the weight of that sentence. It is not a request, it is a technical execution. Seaton is a man of math. He knows that if 400 young, powerful soldiers surrender to panic and swarm the 3 remaining boats, physics will do the rest. The small crafts will tip, they will vanish in seconds. For them to live, you must accept your return to the ocean. You are in the line. You feel your comrade's shoulder pressing against yours, shivering, a violent rhythmic tremor, but he does not move an inch. The water is no longer a distant threat at the bow, it is climbing your ankles, it is reaching your knees. A methodical, patient ascent. Out on the black horizon, you see the boats pulling away, desperate, frantic strokes, trying to escape the inevitable suction. Here is where the cynicism of history hits hardest. You are dying for a code of honor written by men who have never felt the Benguela current stripping the heat from their marrow. You are in a parade formation. While the world ends, beneath your feet the blood trail from the horses continues to expand, pulling shadows from the dire island channel. Do you feel the pressure? It is not just the depth, it is the discipline. Discipline acting as a noose around your neck. Major Seaton, or perhaps the ghost of every officer who ever lived, walks the line. He corrects the posture of men who in minutes will be nothing more than biological scraps inside a shark's belly. There is no romantic heroism here. This is social engineering, a control mechanism applied at the moment of absolute disaster. It is 2:15. The ship gives its final shudder. The iron surrenders to gravity. You feel the floor vanish. You do not jump. You sink in formation. Water hits your chest, then your neck. The taste of salt and machine oil fills your mouth. Just before the sea swallows you whole, you hear the last command, stand fast. And you do. You sink into absolute darkness, rifle still gripped in your hand. Entering the domain of the Tommy Shark, civilization has ended for you. Now begins the oldest biology on the planet. You are underwater. The pressure squeezes your lungs like a titan's fist. Around you, hundreds of men are doing the same, fighting to reach the surface in a chaotic mass of bubbles, pure unadulterated desperation. But remember this, the splashing you make right now is the signal the predators have been waiting for. The formation is broken. The banquet has begun. The world shrinks to the surface of the water, and what lurks just inches beneath it. You break the surface. The cold night air hits your lungs. But there is no relief. Only fear. An animal, electric fear. The sea is no longer water. It is a human soup of 400 men fighting for a scrap of wood, a piece of mast, for one more second of life. You are screaming in the language of sharks. Every movement sends pressure waves to the lateral lines of the great whites circling since the first horse hit the waves. Suddenly, something brushes your leg. It is not a comrade. It is sandpaper, rough, cold, abrasive enough to strip skin on contact. It is the Tommy Shark. The survivors of Gansby didn't give them that name out of respect. They named them for the frequency with which they watched the Tommies vanish in a swirl of red foam. Look to your right. A young recruit, a boy who stripped his red wool jacket to swim better, lets out a cry that does not sound human, a short, dry shriek. His body shakes violently, as if a giant hand grabbed his ankles. His hands claw at the air before he is sucked into the abyss. No blood at first, only disappearance. Then a dark stain bubbles up where he once was. This is where biology dictates survival. Lieutenant Girardeau swims nearby. He did not remove his clothes. His dark flannel shirt and tartan trousers hide the contrast of his pale skin against the deep. You are half naked. Your skin glows under the starlight like a perfect lure. To a shark, you are not a man. You are a wounded seal. Groups of 5 or 6 cling to a fragment of the paddle wheel. Suddenly, one vanishes, then another. The sharks test, bumping with their snouts before they bite. A selective, systematic butchery, happening in terrifying silence beneath the surface, screams. The lights from fishermen's fires on the coast of Danger Point shine with an insulting peace. You are only 3 miles from land, but those 3 miles are a corridor of death you cannot cross. You feel the vibration again. The water agitates as a 20-foot great white passes directly beneath you. It does not bite, not yet. It has chosen a man splashing harder just a few meters away. You hear the crunch of bone. A wet sound, like a green branch snapping under a blanket. There is no regiment anymore, only the purest, filthiest instinct of existence. The hope that the shark chooses the man next to you instead of you. The Tommy shark is collecting its tax for your intrusion with a defective iron shell, and the night is still very, very long. Time in the water is not measured in minutes. It is measured in the loss of heat. Your body shuts down your extremities to save the core, but the ocean is in no rush. It has already won. Look back. What remains of the HMS Birkenhead no longer looks like a ship. It is a pyramid of iron, sinking vertically into the abyss of Danger Point. The main mast still juts upward, a wooden needle, rigging stretching, pointing to the sky like an accusing finger. Around 50 men climb the ropes, ascending higher and higher, fleeing a sea that never stops rising. It is a cruel hierarchy of survival. The strongest are above. The wounded and exhausted cling to the lower rigging, legs submerged, feeling the constant brush of sharks patrolling the base of the mast. In the Benguela current, your social rank, your medals from Crimea, the gold in your pocket, they mean nothing here. Only buoyancy has value. The cynicism of the situation is exquisite. It is 1852, the zenith of the British Empire, and its best soldiers cling to rotting wood in the middle of nowhere, while the unfailing iron of modern engineering rests 30 meters below, transformed into a reef of rust and broken promises. See that officer? He tries to maintain dignity while water reaches his waist. The cold has already stolen the feeling from his fingers, one by one. Exhaustion does the work the sharks began. You hear the dull plop of a body hitting the water every few minutes. No screams, only the sound of physical surrender. The coast is there. You can see the fires of local fishermen in the distance, close enough to count the sparks rising to the sky. But for a man floating in a sea of predators, those 3 kilometers are an astronomical distance. You are at the boundary between 2 worlds. The civilization that sent you to die on a defective ship, and the ancient world of the food chain, claiming what is theirs. The mast gives a final creak. The iron structure holding it under the water has finally collapsed. Slowly, the wooden needle begins its final descent. The men on the rigging do not jump. They simply let the liquid darkness envelop them. You have gone from being a soldier of the Queen to organic detritus in a cold current. But do not worry. The world will remember this, or at least the version it wants to remember. In the end, propaganda is more resilient than iron. Of the 700 souls that once vibrated with the hum of Liverpool boilers, only 193 touched land. The rest became permanent entries in the food chain of Gansby. While the survivors shivered on the coast of Danger Point, skin burned white by salt, eyes hollowed by trauma, the machinery of the Empire was already grinding. They weren't building a better ship. They were building a myth. The Birkenhead drill was born. Women and children first. What a noble phrase, to cover catastrophic engineering failure and a pathetic string of human errors. King Frederick William of Prussia was so enamored, he ordered it read at the head of every regiment as the ultimate example of discipline. But do not be fooled. It was not about honor. It was about damage control. Far easier to sell the image of Victorian heroes sinking in perfect formation than to admit the pride of the Royal Navy was cheap, phosphorus-riddled iron that shattered like a teacup. Today, the HMS Birkenhead remains at 30 meters, disintegrating in perpetual dark. No longer a technological marvel, it is a reef of rust staining the seabed. The bones of the Highlanders, polished by the Benguela current, white as ivory, no medals, no names, just calcium deposits scattered across the floor of the Indian Ocean. Are you feeling relieved now that the story is over? Comfortable on the other side of the screen, feet dry, pulse steady. But next time you swim in open waters, or place blind trust in the technology surrounding you, remember the sound of iron fracturing like glass. Remember that civilization is nothing more than a razor-thin layer of varnish over a world that still sees you as prey. Every time a 5-meter great white patrols these waters, it carries the chemical signature of that Highland blood in its DNA. To them, you are not a hero, not a citizen, not a viewer. You are a rhythmic vibration, a promise of protein. The myth lives in history books. But the truth is still swimming in Gansby, waiting for the next rhythmic splash of progress that believes itself invincible. If you dare look just beneath the surface, you might see a shadow passing under your feet.